It's recording.
There you go. Oh, we have a crew today. Hello, LB. Hello, Gideon. How you doing? Nice background change, Gideon. Hello, Jiga. How you doing? We have a crowd today. We have a crowd today, so let's start with a small rounds of intention instructions. We like to start
intentions and what? I'm sorry.
And instructions.
Instructions.
Yes.
And my intentions are just to try to establish myself with at least one basic distinct task to move the group forward this week, and I'm happy to do whatever that might be. And instructions, none at the moment, but tell me if I'm doing something wrong. That would probably be most clear instructions. Thank you.
Do you mind giving to someone?
Yeah, that's the video. So, right. Little Brady Bunch style.
Did you say me? Did you say me? Sorry. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't hear. Thanks. My intentions, I'd just like to keep moving the ball forward on this audit thing and then the bot thing. So whatever we can do to just keep it moving. I actually don't really have any distractions, so my distraction is the lack of distractions. So whatever that means. I'm going to pass it to LB.
My intentions today are to continue getting to understand this space and my potential place in it. I'm also particularly interested in the larger perspective on onboarding and like guiding people in, and how we can create structures that will kind of outlive these meetings. Yeah, and my distractions are that I woke up late today, so I'm feeling kind of fuzzy and foggy, and maybe just like a little bit frustrated from my last meeting. So those experiences are still kind of like living inside of me as I come into this meeting. Just kind of like let it go. Let's keep going Brady Bunch style. Tam, how are you?
I'm great. If I'm here, I'm great. That's how that works. My intentions are to not screw up recording this because the important task has been finally given to me. I feel like I'm carrying this torch, so I'm going to do my best to record this so that we can keep transparency going. Ivy is here as my backup because she knows me so well. She knows that I need backup. Thank you, Ivy. And my real intentions are also to, we have some momentum. I'd like us to start realizing some of it and, keeping the momentum and starting to realize piece by piece. My distractions are I'm not so distracted. And I'll pass to Olivia.
Thanks, Sam. I'm just really happy about what I've been seeing in this group, and I just want to keep up to date with it. And I draw in calls sometimes, and that's what I'm doing now. But that keeps me focused, actually. And I'll pass to Fugabachi.
Yeah, hi guys. So it's Jugaad, and
Thank you.
Intentions are just to get connected with the community, see how I can add any value, like somebody just said that it's also important to kind of see what processes we can create around onboarding and the structures we can create to make that a more fluid system. So really excited to do that. It's kind of like an extension of what I already do, so I'll be happy to help. And distractions are, it's a little cold in my room, so I don't know how to sort that out. Maybe I get some coffee during the meeting. Yeah. And I can pass to, has YV already gone? Okay, YV then.
Alright, so my intentions for today are to get more clarity with regard to like how we're going to make things. And I'm hoping that Manu or Chewy join this call because there are some interesting points about on like have directing creative people towards comms, specifically like graphic designers, etc. Which is something that they've been tracking, and there are a few thoughts about maybe having that in the survey form or in some other manner. So I'm hoping they show up so that we could maybe have a discussion. The other thing that I'd like to see is maybe the survey questions and like what are our thoughts on those. And distractions for today, I don't have any particular distractions besides a few of my pods are crashing right now. And then pass it to Wesley.
Hello everyone, hope you can hear me. Yeah,
Yes.
see thumbs up, great. My intention for today is to learn a little bit more about what this work group is about. I was planning to schedule a meeting with Gideon, I think earlier this week, but we kind of messed up on that one. Again, sorry about that. So I figured I'll just join this call. Probably easier to just get connected with the larger group. Quite interested to learn more about or do more about onboarding in general. I have a few side projects that I'm working on, so I was kind of interested to hack on something, see how I can improve, see how I can bring some structure to it. My distractions are that I've been traveling today to Lisbon. If anyone's here this week as well, feel free to reach out. But I'm somewhat uncomfortably sitting in a hotel room with my laptop on my lap, which isn't great, but I'll do my best to just follow along. And I'll pass it on. Do we still have anyone? Ivy, I guess.
Thanks, Leslie. My intentions, or yeah, what Sam said, I'm backing her up on recording the call for transparency. And I also added an item in Agenda Eduardo about our plan to do an onboarding Twitter campaign. But if Trey would be able to join her, I'm hoping he would be able to join and we could discuss it if we still have time. But if not, we can just think on that Eduardo or with others in the next days. Yeah, and in distraction, it's 2 in the morning for me, so that's my distraction. I'm getting a bit sleepy. And I pass it back to you, Eduardo.
Can I just add one thing? I think it would be great if we do an onboarding campaign after our onboarding has been implemented, after the changes have been implemented rather than before. Just in terms of timing. I think we spoke about this in comms before. I'll pass to Eduardo.
Thank you. And to finish, my intention for this call is to keep this, as Tam mentioned, momentum. I'm really happy to see so many people on this call. It warms my heart, so thank you for that. And in distraction, just an ambulance. There's something going on in the city, so there's ambulance passing by behind, next to the main street next to my house. So you'll probably hear some of that in the background. But besides that, I'm fully present today. So basically, just to a brief summary of what was our last point. If you see on the agenda down below, there is another date from October 14 where we had a workshop with Meraverde, Tam, Jean, Gideon, and MS, where we worked a little bit on what was the onboarding process and sort of make small everything alright, Obi. And
Sorry, my face is being loud. I'm just sad I missed it. I didn't realize that was a thing that was happening.
it's okay. And that's why we're doing this small briefing so everyone can get on the same page. So basically, we came out with these 3 points, basic points: verification, survey, and guide, as the main 3 aspects of this onboarding journey. And down below, you can see a little bit of how it went. We have the initial part was sort of approved, which is the intro. that allows you to see the code of conduct, the rules of the server, and so on. And then we will get a copy of that and an update from Softcloth Libby tomorrow, no, Wednesday, our Softcloth call. And then the second part is the survey, which MS provided a flowchart that you can see on our channel in Communitas, which is a flowchart of how the questions could be and how the process of deciding will go through with this and what information we provide to the user once they click on certain things. And then yeah, that's a little bit of what we did on that workshop. It was quite productive. So the idea for today would be to see if I don't know if your bots are working by B, but to sort of share your screen if possible. We have a fake server going on where we basically get in play around with the menus, and the idea is to in this poll to show a little bit of this fake server and going through the process of the bot. So we can sort of receive 1 minute feedback from each one, 2 minutes more if it's needed, and we can find consensus on this. So bye, even if you are ready, if you are able to share your screen or share the fake server. If you're talking, Valley, you're muted.
Yeah, just give me a second. Share my screen. Is this visible?
Yes, it works.
So right now I'm this is my account instead of an alternate account. So you're seeing stuff that probably shouldn't be seeing when you just enter the server. So let me just open my alternate account and I'll share my screen.
Perfect. Okay. I swear this. Do you have LD? Do you have GitHub account? Hello, Christopher.
Hi.
Technically, yes. I do have a GitHub account. I don't use it very often. It's mostly for signing into things.
It's because we are sort of keeping track of all the things that people does and contribute. So we would like to, like, at least from the members of this working group, to have their handler on GitHub to add it to the repository. So if you can add it to the agenda to the point that says users to send hub. The send hub is just a visual representation, a better visual representation of GitHub. You can add your username, and this is for everyone else also. Who's not part of the repository of our project. Yes.
Where do you want me to add my handle?
You can send it to me or add it to the agenda.
Just a few more seconds. It's taking long.
No.
Geolocation services in Discord. Don't let you log in until you verify your game.
Right.
Or log in through a different type.
Hey, one thing while we're waiting, and if I just jump in, don't wait for me. I mean, just feel free to interrupt me. But one of the things when I was talking with MS about the flow chart, one of the things that came up was that the survey might be a great thing to do. This shows up in the flow chart, but I wanted to call it out. The survey might be a great thing to do before people have a one-on-one with somebody. and maybe even before they do the orientation. It might be like a nice way to get the survey. It's kind of like an incentive for people to actually fill it out, and it will make those calls and the orientations probably more useful, is what I'm guessing. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Have you taken a look at the tab that says orientation data?
Not yet.
I basically use that data as an entry point for messaging people or welcoming to the server. So based on what they respond on the survey that is right now, survey is the only thing besides the verification that is going on right now on our server. That is live. So we are capturing data that goes to this channel on Discord. It's called orientation data. So I can share my screen in the meantime so you can everyone see it because not everyone is seeing it. So here, I don't know guys, you can see the screen. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So in orientation data, we have this information from everyone that it basically explains the reasoning of where do you hear about the DC and what brings you here. And based on this information, I either send them a personalized message or a more generic one, depending on what they reply. It's not a public information, so it's not open for everyone to see it, but the idea is to make the onboarding process more personal and more accessible. So yeah, even when someone goes to the orientation, it's nicer to sort of, oh yeah, I saw what was your answer, so we can sort of keep track. And I created a spreadsheet for contacting these people, and so keeping track of when was this person messaged, and if they reply, if they don't, and so on. So it's a way to sort of keep it human to the best level possible. Hello, Paige. How you doing? Welcome to the Communitas working group. How are you? I'm good, thank you. We are, just to put in context for everyone, Baba is going to share his screen about the onboarding journey that it's going to be hopefully our onboarding journey for easy. All yours, Baba.
Alright, so you can join the onboarding Discord in the invite. Join, and this shouldn't be visible in the final version. It is visible right now. But yeah, before you can talk, you need to complete these steps. The rules aren't complete as of yet, but yeah, we'll add them. You have to obtain and submit it. And now you can do things in the server. So basically, you'll be locked in this verification channel, and you can click to verify. It asks you a question like, please complete this form to gain access to the server. You say no if you're not aware, and it takes a few seconds, after which it should give you access to the whole server. Yeah. So now what is going to happen here is, it's not, I haven't built that part out yet, but yeah, this would direct you to this channel, your guide channel, and you'd see these buttons in there. So what is DC? Which gives some context about the DC. Again, we have to discuss the content and what do we need these buttons to be. But yeah, this is just showing you what this is just a version 1. I haven't built out these two buttons, but this is a link to the website. This is the bot response to this message, and only you can view this message. So this is a clock of the channel. And yeah, so I think KDN categorized these channels, and this looks great. I like this. So I think maybe we could change a few things over here. But yeah, that's when you post, how we sort things out. And yeah, that's pretty much it as of yet. But the bot, the survey bot DMs you this is it's editing out right now, some issues with notions area, but yeah, you can fill this form over here, and so
these would be our survey questions. So eventually, these are going to be merged in with the other bot instead of having this separate two different bots. But yeah, and this data should go to Notion.
Right. Thank you so much, Mike. So, quick question. Then, because of what I see on the screen, is it possible to have two fixed screens even without the verification? Because you have two fixed screens. Even if you mentioned that it's not should be work like that, so it is possible to still have two fixed screens because we could still have, even if it doesn't go very far, like maybe to leave the one with the buttons on, always on, in case just before verification. I don't know if that's possible or not. But
It should be see. Can you repeat what exactly? I didn't catch some of that.
don't worry. It's a very simple thing. We'll go back to it later. Can you share link on the Communitas so everyone can play with that and follow the journey, the ones that haven't gone through the journey, so we can receive feedback and we will pass it on. So, to receive feedback, 1 minute each, if you feel like, or providing feedback, anything to share, and then we'll move on to then Gideon in the management of the video. I'll pass it to Jim.
That's cool. It's looks like it's going to function great. Yeah, I'd love to play with it more. I think I was playing with it while he was trying to function, manipulate some things. So I might have spread out a little sorry with it. But yeah, I'd love to be a guinea pig. Whenever you guys ready for it, just let me know. Drop me a ping. I'll hop all over it. Thanks.
What about you, Gideon?
I guess what I'd say is it may be that the easiest way to get feedback after if feedback comes after this gathering, just I'll send the link to the doc out again. There's the last page of it has all of these menu items replicated there, so people can just comment and have discussions there if you need to go beyond today. I'll pass it to Tam.
I have nothing to add. I think it looks good. I think that we're making progress. I'll pass to, how about Wesley? What did you think? It might be the first time you're seeing it.
Yeah, thanks. This is indeed the first time I'm seeing it, so maybe I'm missing some context, but maybe it looks great, but maybe the initial step, I think you're basically verifying yourself twice, right? So first sort of a captcha control. I wonder if just completing the survey should probably be enough of a captcha control, or I'm not a bot kind of verification of person joining the server. So that might be a little bit of a better experience, just reducing a step. And maybe another thought would be to not, I think after the captcha, you're basically exposed to the entire channel list. So you have full access to all the channels, I guess. I wonder if it would be less overloading or less overwhelming if you start maybe with a few channels, like maybe a start here channel where you have clearly all the instructions and I could complete the survey and the bot and how everything is set up, maybe an introduction channel or support channel, but keeping it smaller instead of just pushing out all the channels and you're completely overwhelmed where you should start next. That would just be my first initial thoughts. But looks great other than that. Super cool to see that.
Just to explain you the beginning part, it's not a captcha, it's more of the rules and terms and conditions that you have to verify, and then you go through to the validation bot, which is the one that asks you questions, and then it allows you to see the channels. But you can take a look at the link and then provide feedback on the Communitas working channel so we can sort of improve it along the way. Would you mind passing on to someone else?
Is there a, can I just real quick jump in? Can I ask, is there a reason why we're not using a captcha versus like some? There's I know like 3 or 4 different iterations of different types of bots. Or is that just because it's a licensed thing, or we're just trying to do our own thing?
So initially we were going to use a captcha. The problem with like having a captcha bot DM people is that most people, not most people keep their DMs open, but there's gonna be a few people who have closed DMs, and they'll just get locked out of the server. So the reason to use like this drop down menu thing is, as far as I know, this doesn't have any exploits, so you can't automatically do the do a drop down selections. So this works for now, but like using the captcha idea, what we did was like make an alternate website where you like fill the captcha, then you get forwarded to the Discord server. But then that idea kind of got very complicated, very distributed, like multiple. You have to do multiple things to get into the server, and like native Discord invite links didn't work. So it was slightly restrictive. That's why we ditched that idea. But is that something you'd be interested in? And I can link that website if you'd be interested.
Thank you, man. How about you, LB?
Yeah, that was very cool to see. I just want to like first praise this thought. It's nice to have like a step-by-step experience as you come into a place that kind of helps guide you a little bit. Some things I noticed just about the bot is there was one. We went kind of fast, so it was a little bit hard for my brain to keep track. But there was at one point there's like a green button, and it's like the word whatever was on it began with a C, but it had like a check mark. And I went in and like clicked on that to like move forward, and my brain was like, oh, I would have gotten stuck there because it looks like it's already been clicked with the green check mark. So that was just one like UI UX thing that I noticed. I'm excited to like go in and look at it like kind of more slowly, like on a like step by step, like on my own basis. I saw that there was like a Your Guide channel that like comes up, and I thought that was like a really cool thing to have. I'm excited to like look at that a little bit more, and it'd be cool if that seems like a great place for a newcomer to like keep coming back to when they're a little bit confused. Yeah, and I think mostly like I'm really excited for when this gets kind of nailed down, the step by step like flow of it, and then we can kind of come in and really be like, cool, which questions are the most potent to ask? Like where do people get really confused? Like I'm excited for the step that comes maybe after the building of this, which is the like honing in on it. But yeah, overall, like really cool, interesting like tool to have. And definitely the like introducing people step by step to the Discord channels sections could be really useful, but also you don't want people who like know all about Discord and who are just like here to jam, like you want to also give them access as soon as they want access. Yeah, I think that's all that I had to share. Eduardo, will you pass to somebody else for me?
Thank you, Libby. No problem. How about you, Libby?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Really, really cool to see especially the form. I think is my favorite part. I think we have a lot of insights on people who are joining, and maybe they feel more held too, like knowing that people are looking at that information and that can address that. I didn't understand if that's what you said, Vi, that both those bots would be joined, so the form would come together right when you join the server. Like you would click that you read the rules and stuff, and then the form would be right there.
So what I was planning on doing is right now these are 2 different bots. So I'll just shift the survey bot into the verification thing. So as soon as you verify, you get a prompt for the for filling the survey form. So what would happen is that when you finish being verified, you get like two options. Would you like to opt in to fill the survey? Then another option would be like uh, view the guide channel, where to next or something like that. And those two like send you to different places. But obviously you can come back and go to the other place.
Okay, I see. Um, yeah, I think that sounds good. If that is like all in one, the only thing that I felt a bit confused is like, oh, what if you have too many steps that you can get lost in between? But if it's you arrive and then you click the rules and then you receive the form and then you get the channels, I think it's a good idea. And I also second what Wesley said that maybe one channel with very like just clear, hey, here's where you can find this is where you can find that, and and then it opens for the others. But then having to have one more verification might be too much. So maybe it's fine the way it is, but just have like a very clear orientation check, improve the one we have already. Yeah, that's really cool. I'll pass to uh, TEJP.
For now, I don't have anything to add to what the rest was saying. So I like the idea of it, but I don't have anything to add for now. Thank you. How about you, Juliet?
Yeah, thank you, Eduardo. To be honest, it looks really, the exposure that we've had to it, it looks pretty cool. Of course, I think to completely understand where it's going, I understand it's a work in progress for now. So, not too many inputs for now. Maybe we can get to that stage when I see it the next time a little more robust, like understand the UI of it a little bit more. But yeah, for now I know it's just add-on features, so it's interesting for now, and it's only more it'll add more utility and more value for now. So nothing to add for now, but I think the usability of it is something that we can only check once it's completely ready. So uh, maybe we can have more inputs then.
Thank you, Kat. Chris, welcome Madam to the call. We're going through the onboarding journey a little bit. And Christopher, it's your turn.
Yeah, thanks. This was the first time I saw this flow, so it was a little bit difficult to follow along. But as I perceive it, once you have done the verification, the whole server opens up. And my thought was just that after that point in time, it would be quite very much more difficult to get people to answer forms and etc. So just keeping that in mind, that after when you get what you want, access to the whole server, it will be much more difficult to get the user to do other stuff. Yeah. So that is my only feedback. But it looks great, and it's really interesting to see all the capabilities of using these bots. Yeah, I think we can do something great here.
Thank you, Christopher. I think this will be this closing rounds. I don't know if someone wants to add something else to this, and then Gideon. Yes, Libby.
Just a quick question: where can I find the text that is being used? Like, is there a document where all of it is together?
It's on the Miro board of that I showed you the other day. The text is on there. It's not in the document yet, but it should be in the document actually. So I will put it in the document and send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
So does anyone else have something else to add to the bot? If not, then Gideon, can you walk us quickly over the menu rearrangements that you did? You can share your screen and explain to everyone the Discord distribution that you created.
Sorry, hold on just 1 second. Let me just get the server up and then. Okay, can you see that all right?
It's slow. It doesn't show up, to me at least.
It's not showing up.
No.
Try one more time.
Yeah, you may want to turn off your camera so it doesn't overload the.
Okay, hold on. Is that working or not?
Not for me, I think.
Anybody else seeing that?
Still loading for me.
Yeah, just pins and squares.
Maybe somebody else. Can somebody else share it, and then I can just talk.
Yeah. Do you want me to share the server?
Yeah, that would be great.
Sure.
Thanks.
Here we go. Here we go. Can you see it? Get in. Oh, he left. There you go.
Okay.
Can you go?
Okay. Great. Thank you. I think probably the best thing, I don't know what's going to be the most efficient way to do this. I don't think it's going to make sense to go through channel by channel. So what I'll just do for right now is just kind of highlight the top level categories and what the thinking was on that. This was through a bunch of feedback in a document that's shared on the Communitas channel, and I will share it again so that it's very obvious at the end of this meeting. And I think that's probably going to, as I mentioned earlier, that's probably going to be the best way to get kind of the next round of feedback. So the top part of this, where it says like your guide and that kind of stuff, that is kind of just placeholder right now while we work out this bot and the guide and things like that. But the idea is that the start here is going to be something that will be very visible, and this is Wesley. This is actually to kind of build on your point. It may be that it does make sense to just kind of like keep the focus there in the beginning. That would be like about TEC, how to get involved, and then just like some the basic help. Frequently asked questions and things like that before exposing people to the full thing. I don't know. We need to talk about that. But the idea is that this would be the place where newcomers would really just get oriented. And we would really try to keep this simple. We would not, most of these channels right here would be managed by the stewards and the admins. In other words, it wouldn't be just everybody posting there, so that we could have a pretty well curated set of information there and not overload people with too much stuff. And then the only other thing that's worth mentioning here is that the help has kind of two channels. One is locked down with just some frequently asked questions, and then the other is open for people to come in and ask questions and get help from each other. Going down to, I'm going to just keep going, and if there's something that's just not clear, then please feel free to interrupt. But I'm going to just keep moving forward, and then we can just leave it for questions at the end or comments. But after that is the community posts. These are just basically things that are community-wide, not specific to the working groups, and we tried to simplify and kind of eliminate some of the existing channels that seem to be a little bit duplicative today. And then below that are basically the replication of that, which is community-wide calls. So there's community-wide posts and then community-wide calls. And then below that, it just breaks out into the working groups, and it's the same thing. It's replicating posts and then calls. And And then below that is coordination. So that's more stuff. Those tend to be more like feeds, incoming feeds from other places, bug reports, GitHub activity. But then there's also like the job board posts and all of the stuff we can move around if based on feedback from everybody. But this is the starting point. The ecosystem and the global I didn't really touch, and same thing with archive. One thing that is probably worth noting is that I think we need to be careful not to kill anything, like not kill any existing channels, and just move anything that we're getting rid of or deprecating, just move that to archive so we don't lose it. I think that's it. Yeah, I'll stop there.
Thank you, Gideon. Welcome, Bernard Global. The only thing I will change is to move job board to upper section because it could be sometimes relevant for the community, the job board section, but that's the only one. So this is an open space. 2 minutes. If anyone wants to say something, we'll count to 5. You can mute yourself and just express if you want to provide feedback. Yes, Andy.
Yeah, so I'm seeing that this is like a potential reorg of the TEC Discord channels as well. Yeah, I think it's a really nice thing to be able to be given just like a little piece at a time. It's interesting to see what those earliest channels will be filled with, like the guides and the support, and are those links to other places that just live in the channel? Are they living lists of things that certain people are allowed to add to? That'll be interesting to see. I have kind of an idea of the next section that you get exposed to would be channels you're really going to want to hit up all the time. The schedule, let's learn how to use the schedule, let's learn how to tell when things are happening, how to gain access to the calendar, etc. The praise, the job board, maybe, I'm still learning what these things are. It would be great to have just here are the top channels that you as a newcomer or maybe just as a community member are always going to be engaging with. And then when the rest of it opens up, you have those in one spot that you can always just kind of come back to, kind of separate from the only newcomer useful stuff like the guides and the feedback and stuff like that. Check.
Yeah. Does someone else have any other comment? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. So
yeah, sorry, I was outside of the 5 seconds, but just curious. Not sure if might fit better with the bots, but I was curious if there's any verification with Collab land or something as well, especially if you're going towards the hatch and have tokens involved within a project as well. Would it make sense to have some integration like Collab land where you prove you're actually a token holder in some capacity?
Tam, I think you have more info on that because we had this conversation a few days ago, not with me, but in general, regarding accessibility related to tokens. Will you comment on that?
It's not something that we have deployed currently, but it's something that we could certainly look to do. It's an idea that we keep coming back to, but it wouldn't be in the scope for this version. But it will probably be some sort of channel that you can access with TEC tokens in the future. Have you seen it done well anywhere, Wesley? Because we have people in our community coming back telling us places that they've seen it done well. So it's an idea that's on our radar, but not in our immediate future. I'd love to see some inspiration if you have anything to share or recommend looking at.
No, not any concrete examples. At least not with real token verification. I recently joined the Bankless DAO just because I got a lot of feedback from people who were saying that they have one of the best onboarding experiences. But I don't think they have a Collab land or token integration there either. So no, I'd have to have a look. Nothing that comes to mind right now.
Or if anyone comes across it, shoot it to Communitas.
I'd like to mention one. If you're aware of a Hivecraft. One is just Minecraft server project. So they do have like a collab land setup where like I think they use it to verify if you like own a plot in the game and other things. And I also think there's another. I don't remember the name, but there was another server that used it to like use it for that tip bot. I don't, the tip bot said like whoever held a few tokens were able to access the airdrop channels or something like that.
You mind sharing the link in the communities?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, some interesting ways we could think about going with this is, right, like having the Graviton private channel only be accessible by those who have completed the Graviton training and have the POAPs. You know, there's many different ways we can go with this that could be really, really keen, really neat. So thanks for highlighting that, Wesley. I don't know it's going to be part of this next sort of like short-term version of our onboarding, but it's a great idea for a longer-term vision too.
Testing.
There's another one. I'm not sure what the name of the group is. It's like Free to Earn Magazine or something like that. But I jumped in there to see what they were doing, and they use social roll. I think it is. It's a social coin platform to gate people with their own little social token. It did have a few problems in that if people input the wallet incorrectly or did something on their end, it was difficult for the administrators to actually repair, or they're essentially like shadow banned from the server going forward. So it could have some neat implementation, but it could have some drawbacks, and also might go against the openness or transparency mindset. If you're gonna gate people to say you gotta have tokens that actually even see what we're doing. So
thank you. So moving on to the agenda. Tam, do you want to talk about the funding proposal for Communitas working group for the next 5 minutes to leave the 5 minutes open left? I don't know if you are able to do it.
Yeah, I could talk about that. I'd also love just to bring up one thing that should be on everyone's radar is we, ViVIV, and I are looking at sesh.fyi as a scheduling announcement tool. And the impact this would have is that the current announcements that we have, every channel has an announcement that has a banner for the working group about an hour before the call starts. We've hit some limitations. The biweekly calls would need new programming. The changes to the banner or image are not very easy to do and sort of require intervention from Vi. So we're hitting some bottlenecks with the homemade implementation that we have, and we're looking at this custom bot or out-of-the-box bot that provides this kind of tool, this kind of like announcement with an image for the Discord server. So Vi will be testing it out and trying it out, and then maybe group by group we'll start to migrate to the new tool, and if it looks good we'll keep it. So I just want to put that on everyone's radar, that that thing will change. The advantages that we have is that it means that if you need to change the time or the image or anything about that announcement for your working group, it is so easy to do now. It'll be a piece of cake. Yeah, Eduardo.
Yes, we talked briefly with Vi about this, but Discord has a new feature that I saw in Finance Vote, another DAO that has a small event tag that is you can modify and can tell you in how many hours it will happen exactly to your time zone. So it's like I don't know how it works, but it's a very nice add-on to have whenever we are able to do it. I sent that screenshot to ViVIV, but that's also a possibility to explore because it's already integrated with the server. So it doesn't matter where you go in the server, you will still see it on your left menu. It's a permanent feature of Discord. So yeah, that's it.
So right now that's in beta. and it hasn't been launched in many most servers. Like only certain servers have access to it. And as far as I know, this is like a one-time thing. It's not recurring. But I don't know how they're going to progress with it. So they might like make this like you could set this as a recurring event or something like that. Right now, it's just like you can set a date and a time and a topic, and this makes like an announcement for an event.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Eduardo. I'm not sure it meets all the requirements that we need to do announcements for the working group calls, but it's good to be that it's on our radar now. Okay, so we have 5 minutes, you say, or a few less. Okay, so Communitas working group funding. Is this the first time we're sharing it? It is, right? We've shared it in the Stewards. So we're trying to figure out, all of the working groups are looking for how they will fund themselves at the Commons upgrade. And there is, this balance between making sure that the funding that we've raised actually goes to the mission, which is funding token engineering projects, and still having contributors that are supported and can continue to move working group streams of work forward. And importantly, prioritize the work that we're doing. So in this, I don't know if it's in our agenda. If not, I'll drop it. Okay, I see. Okay, I'll just throw it in here so everyone has access to it if you want to see it. I'm really into adding links into our agenda notes so that everyone can jump into things at the same time. So we made some assumptions. The assumptions is that we will ask for a 3 months period. We made some assumptions that the reward system is indeterminate. We really don't know what the outcomes will be. So we will probably try to compensate a little higher than what we think will actually be needed once the reward system is operational. And lastly, because Communitas is all about the community, we're expecting that probably these roles mean that you'd probably need to work 20 hours a week to be in Communitas. Other work is still doable. Pieces of work will still be possible. There may be some bounties associated with this working group, but in order to really be in the know, you probably need to expect 20 hours a week. I want to say this is a really raw draft. So it's the first version. It's just some basic thinking. A lot of feedback would be very, very welcome on this. So what services does this working group provide? Community building is just the most important. Keeping things social, keeping things alive in the community. Onboarding is exceptionally important. I would imagine onboarding ends up being, some kind of I wouldn't say service, but like some kind of research that can actually go and inform other DAOs of how to do it. I want the TEC to be the one that nails it. I want everyone to come to the TEC and be like, you guys are amazing, how did you do that? I want Communitas to be filled with people from other DAOs asking us how we did it. That's my goal. Outreach to new communities, so DAO-to-DAO relationship building. This is part of the Communitas' services and mandates. And then token holder relations. Comms has a big part of making sure information goes out, but I think Communitas is really specially poised to be like, we have the personal touch from the very beginning with each individual hatcher, with each individual token holder, especially with the people that want to be known. Not all of our token holders will want to be known, but some of them are going to come into the TEC because they really believe in that. And we want to make sure that those people are warmly welcomed, are informed of voting periods, are informed of proposals that are coming up, are well informed of what the things that they need to know about. So we're looking at a weekly compensation rate. You can see we still have some to-dos to do. Ideally, I'd like to have some phrasing about the rationale, about the rates, and write up the expectations for each of these roles. I helped Juan Carlos with the Gravity Working Fund proposal today. Working group fund proposal today. So I'm actually now there's putting all the pieces of the working groups, like the Stewards working group, which has some stipend, and then each of the individual working groups. It seems as if we should probably have each working group supporting their stewarding and their working group coordination lead. So we have these two roles in these working groups. And then something like a community manager. Actually, we like the term community builder now. I do want to actually just change that. I had somebody correct me and say that community builder is a more appropriate term for this role, and even that it wouldn't be so far to say community architect. So I'm taking that information and applying it immediately. Welcomers. So the idea is that these three roles would be very experienced people. The steward would help lead the calls, would sort of drive some of the initiatives. The working group coordination lead would be the person who's working with the rest of the working groups in the Scrum events. The community builder would be really architecting the experience for onboarding and for creating new communities. And then there is the onboarding welcomers and buddies. So these are two, I think that there might be two of these, or Eduardo and I thought that there might be two of these. This is just to make sure that everyone lands on Discord, gets a warm touch. And if this idea of there being buddies pans out, that might be a role that we would want to fund as well. Outreach would basically be something like the TE Scouts proposal, so DAO to DAOs, making sure other DAOs are aware of the work that's being done in the TEC, and having joint kinds of collaborations and sessions together, and then token holder relations. So that is something of what we're looking at. So the 3-month proposal would be about 54,000 DAI, or we would trim some of this down, and then there would be something like a special project budget that I would think would be not high actually, but in case there is a particular project that we want to support, perhaps it's to get some consulting, or perhaps it's to have some, I don't know, maybe the comms group isn't able to support a design request, and it's to do some design work or an infographic or a small video, or like just something so that there is, petty change on hand in case there's a project that we would want to support. And then, yeah, so that's where we are so far with this drafting process. I really would love to hear people's feedback, especially what works and doesn't work in other DAOs. I had a list of different links in the DAO space of how other groups are supporting the contributors within their communities that a lot of the working groups sort of looked at to sort of inspire and understand how to write our own proposals. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Sam. We don't have too much time for feedback. We can write it down in the Communitas or write her privately or in the comment if you feel like. Then,
in the doc.
Yes, but ideally in the doc. We have two things that I would like help and support on. One is doing how to add the calendar video with a small screenshot video of how to add your calendar to your. I will create the GitHub issues for this, but this is open for anyone who wants to support this, and also to contact the new people has arrived to the server until we deploy the onboarding journey. We will need people who will start practicing this role of welcomers. So if any of this call wants to join this process, write me personally and we have a sync. And then we will have a third role, a third task, which will be a final workshop to design the questions and the content for the new Discord, kind of fill in the blanks. So that workshop will probably held this week also. So if anyone wants to join, they're more than welcome. These 3 tasks are quite important for us. So with that, we will end the call. And thank you so much, everyone. Sorry for having such a slow call today. Today was a call more about receiving feedback and seeing the process, so we can all agree and are on the same page. So thank you so much for joining, and look forward to see you next week. Take care.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
Hey, Edu, can I?
Thanks, everyone. Bye.